Sometimes I'll model a part over and over in repetition to just kind of test alternative workflows to try to come up with the most optimal solution. In the setup for this slide, I was going to do something in reference to some stairs, so I just wanted to show a fun way that I was doodling around with some stairs to come up with the most optimal way to actually create some stairs. So let's just select this edge and we'll press Ctrl X in order to dissolve it. We'll press Ctrl R in order to place a loop cut on this n-gon. Because it's an n-gon, we know that the loops aren't going to go around the form at all, they're just going to stay constrained to this area. One of the benefits of using n-gon. So we click to place it, and I tried a variety of solutions in order to try to turn these into stairs. For example, I pressed Alt V in order to rip the geometry out and take it a certain direction, which seemed like it was almost cool, except I would have to do some mirror magic with view, and really that's inorganic as a process to demonstrate. So let's right click that. Also tried other methods like beveling it and actually giving it one edge, but that actually offsets it to a different region than where I want it for all these to be equal stairs. So the key to it is actually rolling to put one loop in the middle, and then from there I can just offset these. It doesn't matter how much they're offset, but I can select the bottom loop of each of them, dissolve it, select each of these loops, which is about 10 different clicks right there. But we could press GG in order to slide these at each other, and then from here press Ctrl Shift Tab in order to change our snap mode to vertice. And by pressing GZ we can actually snap it up to snap to this region. And then in order to fix the bottom, we can actually just press Ctrl R, add a loop cut, slide it all the way down, press G, Z, hold Control while hovering over this area, and we can just snap it there, and just like that we've created a set of stairs. There's also some really good Blender add-ons that make stairs. I think stairs is like a rite of passage or something, but now we actually have some stairs to jump on to the next example. Let's interrupt this release log with a quick detour, just showing what we can pull off with these enhancements with array and true empty and all that with a set of stairs. So I'm just going to tap into edit mode, and we'll select this face, and we'll shift click curve extract in order to extract this piece off into its own piece. From here we can press Q, go into array, and we can attempt to move it, but we need to press X in order to change our axes. And let's just roll the wheel to add enough pieces in between. However, my mouse is getting off cursor, so let's press V to switch over to 2D mode, and we can actually just roll a few more segments in. We just want to make sure that we have more than enough steps. In order to get this to go correctly on the next axis, this would be a good time for me to press pause and bring up the dot UI, where I can just begin scrolling on the Z in order to move it up. From here we see that even shift scrolling on the Z isn't going to get this exactly where I want. In fact, to really get this precise, I need a little bit more control. So I'm going to press Shift E, even though I'm still inside this dot UI using a hotkey in order to exit with an empty target. And just by clicking we can actually exit, and we have an empty for us to adjust. And just transforming empties in order to get arrays just right just feels a lot easier. Even though I can't see the empty, I can still just press G and move my mouse, and I'm able to see exactly where I'm getting it positioned, and then everything looks good. So far so good, and we have our stairs set up. So I'm going to press Q, we'll lower our solidification just slightly, and the next thing we'll do from here is just select this edge, Shift E, E, Z, we'll just bring this down maybe to about there, looking at this stair for reference. And I'll press L while hovering over this, press Alt N in order to bring up my normals menu, and we'll just flip my normal. We'll press P to separate that selection. And also the shading in the viewport just looks terrible, so I'll press Alt V, we'll jump to EVHQ just to get that looking better. And let's just bring this piece out, and just like that we actually have a set of stairs made. So from here I always go a little sci-fi with these staircases and these examples, so we'll just begin cutting some pieces in. We see that we can't just willy-nilly just go cut into random stairs. We need to cut into the progenitor stair. So with everything in place, we'll just cut here, just making random little box cuts. We'll press D, maybe not, switch over. And just begin cutting us some booleans. In this particular result, we'll press W to get out of wedge. Maybe SX, and we scale it, noticing that the bevel no longer skews whenever we scale. Kind of a long time bug in Boxcutter. Let's press Alt X, and we'll mirror this using HardOps mirror modifier. And from here, let's continue on detailing the surface. So we'll cut a wedge in this area. We can just come down this with a straight box, but press B in order to bevel. And this is what we're looking at. So really short work on these particular stairs today. So now with this piece, we can just really come up with a game plan for how we want to destroy this. So we'll draw a box, press B, press T, give it some thickness, hold Control for some dots, and we'll just perform a wedge cut. Maybe one here as well. And then what we want to do is Alt-X, mirror this to the other side. That's going to give us that edge in the middle that you just saw, which will allow us to use it as a jump off point. And we could just extrude this piece back, press W to get rid of wedge, roll a bevel in this, and press V in order to array. And because of the mirror and sorting and all that, we can just have everything taken care of. And let's just control click bevel to add a bevel on this. Press 1 to adjust the auto smooth. And stairs is just one of those things that as you're working on them, they just become infinitely more interesting as you continuously add cuts to them, because I mean, well, they're freaking stairs, you know. So let's just alt click sharpen to get it looking pretty good. Let's select the entire stair mesh that we were dealing with, add a bevel to that, alt click sharpen to get it shaded just right. And just like that, we're looking at a set of stairs. Alt M, control click, add a blank material. And we see that really there's nothing left for us here. So let's bring in a circle, kind of a weight there. We won't talk about that. Press X. In fact, let's make sure that we're not under exact. Alright, and we're not. So carry on. We'll select this piece, alt click to give it an emissive material. We see that every piece received that as well. And if we want to have some fun, you know, while we're in Boxcutter, let's just perform a box cut in this particular area. Let's press B in order to bevel. But let's press X to convert it to a slice. And let's press Alt-X to convert it into a recut, so we get back a version that's unmodified by all the modifiers we're using. So with our naked slice, we'll just cut inside of that. Add one of these numbers. Let's shift it to live. And let's use one of the Hops tool features of creating a grid. So I'm just going to shift click diamond, which will actually place that shape in the selection. And there we go. So let's get this mirrored to the other side. And I purposely set this up so I would have to mirror this to, well, I would have to array this to all these other areas. So let's actually set that up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stairs. So not bevel. We want to go under modifier and choose array. V 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I don't know why I'm counting. We have computers for that. So I'm going to exit with an empty target, which means that somewhere in this is an empty, and it's here. So we just bring up our grill, place it with the rest. But what we want to do is actually judge the top stair and make sure that that one's getting a good grill. And let's give this one a blank material as well. And with blank material, I always play a gamble, you know, like once I jump into render mode, that's when I can tell what my final result's going to be. But before that, let's take a moment, press Q, and we want to use power save, but I'm going to control click it to bring up the prompt, and we're just going to call this, actually, before I do that, let's press Control Shift O, and we're calling these box stairs. There we go. I just wanted to make sure that we were using the same convention as before so that they would actually, and we did it. So that's fine. You know what's strange is whenever I do that and I go outside of convention, I will load up my power saves, right click. First we select it, delete. We see that it was box stairs, all one word. And now we're on box stairs 02. And let's jump over to render mode. And this is what our result looks like. We can of course press Alt-V to just cycle through various viewports, press V to actually turn off viewport display. But just like that, we're able to create some very quick stairs just playing around with the new features that are part of ArrayV2. And some Boxcutter, of course. And of course a little HardOps to tie everything off.